Well, if you know, you know. In Marvel's latest blockbuster, Shang-Chi, played expertly by Simu Liu, is forced to face his past when his father comes calling to collect the two gems that she gave to him and his sister many years previously. Now, first of all, I need to eat some humble pie here because after Endgame, I genuinely thought that Marvel would struggle to hit those heights again. But Shang-Chi not only exceeded my expectations, but it sets my expectations for all future Marvel movies a lot higher because Shang-Chi is arguably the best origin story that the MCU have told thus far. Let's start off with the character of Shang-Chi himself. Simu Liu is brilliant in this role. If his tweet to Marvel didn't convince you that he had passion for this character, his performance in this should go to show you how much he cares about his character. The journey he goes through from running away from his past to fully embracing his past and embracing all aspects of his heritage, which is a big theme within this, is brilliant to see. His and Katie's relationship is fantastic. Aquafina does amazing in this role. I can't wait to see more of her. I do wish it was given more of a chance to show her more serious side that some of you might have seen in the farewell, as she mostly acts as the comedic relief or the fly on the wall for the audience within this. But she does hold her own, and you do buy into the friendship that those two have. And as someone in the mid 20s, I fully related to them talk about doing the sensible thing, but instead going out and drinking in a karaoke bar until 4 or 5 in the morning. It's a very relatable thing that I feel like a lot of us millennials can really attach ourselves to. Our villain is played by Tony Leung, and he is brilliant in this. He is arguably one of the MCU's best villains. He's the best that we've seen since Thanos, and after the lackluster villains that we've had over the last few movies, he was a very good character to have because he wasn't just being evil for the sake of evil. He has genuine motivations that you can understand within this, and he has a very human side to him. Even though he's lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, he has a very human motivation behind him, and that helps us relate to him a lot more. And it really does add to the rivalry and relationship that Sean and Wenwu have within this movie. Menga Zhang also plays Shang's sister in this, Shi Ling. She is a fantastic little character as well. I love her little backstory of always being in the background of the Ten Rings and her father's viewpoint and how she's trained herself to become this absolute badass. One of my negatives with it though is that I do feel like we should have got more of her character because it ended up being more about Shang and his father's relationship, and that is understandable. He is the main character within this. But the fact that there's a sibling that is just there, she doesn't get much chance to shine or any real one-to-one scene with her father. You would have thought she would have had just as much determination to take her father down as does Sean. The martial arts is fantastic in this. This is arguably some of the best choreography that Marvel has ever seen. It takes a step back from the usual magic and superpowers that we've come used to. The majority of the fights within this are purely down to martial skill, and it is shot beautifully. The way the camera moves through these fight scenes is something special, and at times it does feel like you're watching these fights in CG, but more likely just sped up the footage slightly to improve the fluidity of the sequences. But the way the camera move makes it feel more natural. And the scene on the bus that takes place quite early on is fantastic. There is a particular reference to the Raid 2 that I really enjoyed. All the fight scenes are brilliant, but the scaffold fight and the bus fights are by far my favorites. Towards the end, it becomes very much a CGI fest, and to be honest, I didn't mind it as much because the world that this film gave us was something I just want to see way more of. An overriding plot of this is that Sean's father is trying to discover this city in another dimension. And when we get there, it is gorgeous. Some of the creatures in there, one's very much like Ninetales from Pokemon. They are just some gorgeous creatures, and the effects on them are brilliant. I also love that they bring in some minor characters from previous films. Now, Shang-Chi, where it succeeds, is it can stand on its own 2 feet. I don't feel like you have to have watched any of the other MCU films to get it. You'll have to have watched them for the mid credits and after credit scenes, but for the bulk of the movie's runtime, there's only odd references to previous events in the MCU, and there are a couple of minor characters that do appear in this movie that are fun, at least the eggs that reward you for being a long term fan of the MCU franchise, but isn't drive away from the overriding origin story of Shang-Chi, which is a big achievement, especially with the wide cast of characters that the MCU already has. Ben Kingsley returns in this in a very funny bit of comedic relief. He doesn't overstay his welcome. Another thing that this movie shines on is it keeps the tone consistent. One of my big complaints with Black Widow was the fact that it would use comedy to take away from very serious moments, and it was very tonally mixed. This one knew exactly when to focus on the story and exactly when to throw in a tiny bit of comedy. And when the comedy is there, it's not heavy handed in your face. It is very much in character moments and usually coping mechanisms for these characters that are doing the comedic relief. The effects team behind this movie are brilliant. The costume design, especially in the latter half, are brilliant. I just love the color scheme. There is a gorgeous little battle sequence that reminded me of the Hua Mulan film that I watched from, I think it was 2008, that movie, but I could be completely wrong. But it very much touches on these old Eastern films that feature battles and the clash of red and black on a very vibrant green background. It's just a gorgeous image. There is some questionable green screen, especially in the early parts of the movie, but I feel like that was a needed sacrifice in order to bring us the quality of the finale. There's a particular bit of CG that I feel like a lot of this budget went on, and it is glorious. I loved watching this in IMAX the second time around. I've watched this twice before doing this review, just so I could really look for flaws and establish my own thought. This is a strong movie with a strong cast, a lot of passion behind it. A nice little note is there's a considerable part of this movie that is spoken in native Chinese with subtitles, and that is one of the things that holds this film above others, in my opinion. It blends the two languages really well together. It makes sense in the context of the movie. And I'm just going to say, if you're a casual movie fan that's always complaining about subtitles and you don't want to watch a film with subtitles, if you can enjoy Shang-Chi, then you can read subtitles. So go watch some subtitle movies because trust me, there are some fantastic movies out there, and this film very much pays homage to them in a number of fight scenes. This is a big achievement for Marvel, and I very much enjoyed it. Before I get into my grade, if you like what I do in this channel, click that like button, subscribe to the channel for more review content like this coming all the time. I'm happy to announce that I'm actually going to be covering the London Film Festival. Now, I won't be covering it daily because my editing software is at home. London's 400 miles away from me. But once I get back, I will be doing my favourite films from that festival, and the rest I'll be covering on Letterboxd reviews as well. So make sure you check those. But overall for me, Shang-Chi, it was a great origin story. It rewards you for being a long-term Marvel fan, but it can stand on its own 2 feet where a lot of Marvel films can't. The fight choreography and the camera work within these fight scenes is second to none. There's a lot of passion behind this, and all the elements coming together and the themes just make this a perfect little origin story. I honestly feel like No Way Home might be the third best Marvel film because the turnover is looking great, and Shang-Chi is giving me very much a Guardians of the Galaxy effect, where I don't feel like everyone outside of a small pocket of people on Twitter thought it would be that good, and it's just going to blow everyone's expectations out the way. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go watch it and make sure it succeeds. I'm going to say that for me, Shang-Chi is a great cup of tea. So, Shang-Chi, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Let me know how badly I've butchered some of the pronunciations. I've tried my best here. Again, top 3 Marvel films, comments below. Let me know. Subscribe to the channel for more video content like this. My name is Josh. I have been your Liverpool fan movie apprentice, and I'll see you in the next one.